Welcome to Masters Week. Your best bet is here to break it all down. Probably the best golf tournament of the year. I think it's no doubt one of the biggest sports weeks of the year, following past couple of weeks, which have provided a lot of good entertainment as far as basketball. Seeing Coach K lose on Saturday night was a true gift, and we're going to build upon that this week with the Masters. So we got a lot to talk about, a lot to get into right away. Joining me is a trio of guys to talk about it. Zach Fitzgerald. Zach, welcome.
Hi, how are you? Finally Masters Week, and I always think I'm not going to be as excited as the previous year, and then it hits Monday, and I start seeing these things pop up on Facebook or on the Golf Channel, and it's just back to being as excited as can be. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yep, should be awesome. Johnny Strouser, you happy about Coach K going down and not going out on top?
I mean, other than the Duke national championship future that I had, it was a small price to pay. But yeah, anytime that dude loses, that's fine. So I mean, this couldn't have been a more perfect setup for the best week of golf. Lots of storylines for the Masters coming up here, and I'm looking forward to discussing them and picking a winner here.
And finally, coming in from the top rope, for probably a lot of good takes, Tim Miller is here. Tim, last time you were on, we were talking about Rowdy Burns and Cole Trickle, and now we're talking about the Masters.
Is that the last time I was on?
I think
so.
I
was on since then. But either way, yeah, this is going to be a good week. It just kind of keeps getting better with the Masters, and this year there's a lot of good stuff potentially happening. Things are looking good for one thing in particular that everyone knows about, and I'm sure we'll touch on that. But everybody knows where Tiger's plane is all the time now, which I didn't know was a thing until this week. But pretty awesome.
Let's start right there. I mean, every indication is, as we're recording this Monday night at 8:00, that Tiger is going to be playing this week. There's been no set official announcement. I remember 2 weeks ago, Johnny, Scott Peary, and I were talking. We said his name's still on the list. Scott was like, "No way, that can't happen. He can't walk that course." Last week when we recorded, we said, "All right, maybe like a 25% chance he's going to scout. He's gonna play it, see how his body feels." And then we waited all day Friday, nothing came. And then here he was yesterday and now today playing practice rounds, practicing. Every indication is his speed is up. His physical ability looks good, and it looks like he's really going to play in this thing. And who knows, maybe make the cut. What are your thoughts on Tiger playing? What are your expectations, Johnny?
I think he's going to play, first of all. Him flying up there last week and then coming up on Sunday to play 9 holes on Sunday and then 9 holes today on Monday. This isn't a vacation. This isn't just him coming up there to play a little bit of golf and then go to the Champions Dinner on Tuesday and then fly home. I mean, he's serious about it. When he ramped up for the father-son challenge back in December, he was hitting balls all day in the Bahamas. Same type of thing here, and it's just going to be whether he feels comfortable enough on that leg. And tomorrow, Tuesday, is going to end up being a wash because they're going to get rain all day. So I don't think there's going to be any golf that's going to be played. And I've heard that he wants to play one more 9-hole round on Wednesday, and as long as there's no significant setbacks, I think he's going to be a go. And he's just going to be the guy, as long as he plays in this event, that he knows how to get around, knows the greens, knows the lines and everything. And I don't know if I would consider him a top contender, but I have expectations that he could make the cut. And like I've always said, just make the cut and see what happens.
Tim, 14 months ago, he's in the devastating crash in California, almost loses his leg. And it's hard. It was hard to envision even 6 months ago a path where we were going to see him in the first major. I think there was a lot of discussion about maybe seeing him at St. Andrews for the Open because it's such a flat golf course. It's a much easier walk. what should be the expectation, and should just getting here be one of the greatest achievements that Tiger's ever had in his career, just coming back this quickly?
Yeah, I think that's enough for me. I did not think that we would see Tiger Woods on a golf course in a competitive fashion, other than maybe some kind of a pro-am type thing, or something for fun, or
The father son.
televised. Yeah, things like that. I just did not expect, especially this soon. I mean, 14 months is not a long time for the type of injury that he had, but I'm good with that. I'm just, every indication is he's going to play, and I believe if there's any way that he can play, he's going to be there. And I think as a golf fan, you're just happy for that. But at the same time, if he does play, I think I would think that he has a shot at top 20, top 25. I believe, I don't think he shows up not thinking he doesn't have a chance. So he's got to be in some kind of condition that he feels like he's ready if he's going to take the tee on Thursday.
Zach, the line on Tiger, 45-1 to win. It's a little steep, as we talked about last week. To make the cuts, -115, to miss the cuts, -115. So it's kind of equal on both sides there. What, him knowing this golf course as well as he does, winning the Masters as many times as he has, just the feelings he has on this golf course, is that sort of enough to bring him to a point where he can at least, even if he's feeling fatigued day 2, day 3, that can get him by, and he can shoot a score?
I think so, for sure. I mean, Tiger said numerous times that he doesn't show up to play a tournament unless he thinks that he can win and compete. And I trust him when he says that. So if he's showing up here, if he's playing, there's been numerous things said by other players that have seen him hit on the range that said that he looks good. I think with his, what I imagine, he still has the ability, if he can walk it, if he can stay healthy and strong enough to make it 4 days, I don't see any reason that he can't compete. The course is not too long for him. Short people, Zach Johnson won. No, to me, I think that I really think that he could compete, and I'm excited. We talked about it a week ago, and I still kind of at that time doubted that he was going to play, but like everybody else said, I really do think he's going to play, and I'm extremely excited about it.
But was it the 16 or 17 Hero? He said that's when he was really injured, and he said anything past that was going to be gravy in his career. And of course, when winning the 19 Masters, we said, anything past that is, we've reached the pinnacle in life. Winning the 19 Masters, our life. So I can't imagine him A, winning again, or B, winning another major, but I can't even envision what that would look like if we get to that point, whether it's this tournament or somewhere down the road in 22 or next year, where he adds onto that major total. So it's going to be awesome to see him again playing, and golf just feels different when he's out there and he's back. And I want to get to later on how that might take some pressure off some other guys that might have the heat on them. But something that we've done on this show, and especially with Zach and Johnny, we've done a buy or sell version. And talking about the Masters, I want to do a buy or sell for the Masters, but it's not specific to players. It's going to be items about the Masters you're going to buy or sell, and why. We've talked about how this, in our minds, is the best major going. It's the best, one of the 2 or 3 best sporting events of the year. There's just nothing like the first major, this major every year. So guys, buy or sell the green jacket, period. If you want to call it a trophy, they do give it a trophy, of course, but the green jacket is the real true trophy of this tournament. You buy or sell the green jacket. Zach?
I buy it. I would much rather have a green jacket than a trophy.
Tim, green jacket, yellow jacket, who gives a shit?
I'm gonna buy the green jacket. I mean, the two mil's not bad, but I'll take the green jacket too.
Johnny?
I think you got to go for the clean sweep there. That's just the most iconic garment in sports, and it's something that a tradition that'll never die, hell yeah, I'm all on that.
Jim Nance he's just on a run right now. Of course, this consecutive weekends, Final Four, championship, and the Masters. We know that this is one of his events that he loves to call. Are you buying or selling Jim Nance at the Masters, Johnny?
I am going to buy because I don't want to ever hear someone make a call on the 18th hole ever again other than him. I just think he's perfect for it.
Tim?
I'll buy. He's I think for me, he's kind of part of it, and he's kind of became like a part of it over the years for the Masters and me. So I'm buying.
I think Nance has been there since '86. I think he's been on the lead call since '93 or '94 when I think it was when Summerall went to Fox to do football. Nance got to get the lead gig. Zach, are you going to sweep it on Jim Nance at the Masters?
Oh, for sure. I mean, Nance is bought in completely to it. He's created holes in his backyard. He has the whole setup where it plays the music through the speakers. I mean, a guy that's invested in something that we all love that much. Yeah, I'm all for him. So nerd out on the Masters all you want. I would love to be able to nerd out on the Masters every year like he does. So jealousy and happiness. He's great.
I'm into. I wish we could flip out Faldo with about anyone else. But I think we're stuck with him as well. Number 12 as the best par 3 in the world. Buy or sell, Tim?
I'm gonna sell on that one. I actually like 16 better at Augusta. To me, it's always a pivotal hole. Crazy things can happen on 16. 12 has its place. It's tough. It's a really tough hole, but there's something about 16 I like a little bit better.
That funnel pin on Sunday. Got a lot going on Sunday. Zach, what do you think? 12 is the best par 3 in the world?
No. I prefer 17 at Sawgrass over that. Numerous.
Gimmicky.
It's not gimmicky. It's just, it's beautiful with historical value for 12. I understand, but I think it's short. I get that it creates problems for people, but I think there are numerous better par 3s for me. Historically speaking, maybe not, but for me, no.
Johnny?
I'm going to buy it. I'm going to say this is the best, and maybe it's not the best laid out, or maybe not the most picturesque because you don't have an ocean nearby, or there, something like that. But this is the near the start of the back nine, and on Sundays it has taken very iconic instances in Masters history. Look at 92 with Fred Couples, the ball holding up on the bank there. You look at 2019 with Tiger hitting it safe over the bunker, and then Finau and Molinari both dumping it in Rays Creek. I mean, it just has a lot of turning points. It's the start of just, I guess 11 is the start of the stretch of the true great back nine, but 11 is 11, but 12 is where things tend to happen.
I think I'm with you, Johnny. I think I'm going to buy it. I exactly the same reasons. Aesthetically, it maybe isn't the most pleasing, like a 17 at Sawgrass, or even like a 17 at Pebble, where you have the ocean in the back as a backdrop, or 7 at Pebble. But I think there's been so many dramatic things have happened at this hole. You look at Jordan Spieth in 2016. I think we're collapsing here, bud. Norman in 96. So there's been huge turning points, and obviously 19 was a huge turning point for Tiger's win. So I think I'm with you here. I had Amen Corner down as a buy or sell, but I think we can all buy it. I'd rather you guys just tell me what's your least favorite hole in the back nine of Augusta National, Johnny.
Wow, least favorite hole.
I'll give you an example. 17 it's brutal. It's in a brutal spot. I wish they could flip it out with like 13. Imagine 13 being the 71st hole of the golf tournament, and you got to hit that rope draw around the corner. And if you pull it off, you got probably like a 7 or 8 iron in. Instead, 17 is just this. It's just kind of a drag of a par 4. I get the routing and why it's there, but that would be my pick, 17 for sure.
I could co-sign for that on 17 there. The green's real tough, and it's not really a pivotal hole as far as making birdie. You're rarely going to make birdie on that if you're coming down the stretch there. And I know there's so many other birdie holes on that back 9, so maybe that's the one that you just don't do. But yeah, if you put 17 where 13's at and 13 where 17's at, then I think that just makes it all the more interesting.
Tim?
I think 10 is a hard hole. And I think as a player, I look at it like that. As far as watching these guys play, I don't necessarily get in like enjoyment out of watching anyone struggle at golf. So even these guys playing a hole of that difficulty to start the back 9, and then it just doesn't get any easier. I think 10 would be my least favorite hole.
Zach?
I do not have a least favorite hole in the back, but if I had to pick one, probably 14. I mean, it's set in between the 2 par 5s. You know, it's set in between 2 holes that probably provide potentially the most excitement. So probably 14, but the back is a set of golf holes that is almost perfection to me. It's so. The back 9 on Sunday at Augusta is the greatest 9 of golf that I think that we see at any point if it's close. And it's all set up by the fact that there's ridiculous amounts of risk reward. So it's just a great set of golf.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think to echo your point, it's just, we've seen it for years and years. You know, people our age, we've watched the Masters 30 plus years, 35 plus years, and we know these shots. We know where the guys have to miss it, and you know where they can get up and down, where to putt from. So it's pretty incredible to be watching that collectively and kind of everyone know all these spots, and that's the fun part of watching it on the back 9 on Sunday. Guys, I want to talk about the field a little bit, and more specifically, some of the superstars or stars that going into this Masters. In my mind, this Masters is not, you know, the last few, we feels like we've had like a number 1 player or a guy that's really been on a roll coming into this event. And I don't really feel like we have it this year. I feel like I hate the term wide open, but it feels that way because if you look at the top guys, you look at a guy like Rahm or JT who have been hitting the cover off the ball for a couple months, but they've just not made a putt. That's been holding the back. You look at a guy like Morikawa, who's been, you know, having these streak putting weeks, but his weakness is getting the ball up and down this season. He's outside the top 200. Cam Smith, he makes every putt he looks like, but can we trust him, you know, to get the ball in play and position himself with his iron? So I look at all these guys, and there's like one thing that's been maybe holding them back from winning this year or having a great season. Of course, you could talk about Scotty Scheffler, you know, pretty much doing it all lately, but I want to talk about the guys that you think might need this one the most, whether for their legacy, their career. You know, a guy like Tiger doesn't need this one, and even if he was healthy, he doesn't necessarily need it at this point. But who's someone who maybe hasn't won a major in a while, or he needs if it's a second major, their 4th major, whatever it may be, that you feel like they need it more than most? Zach?
Yeah, I kind of looked this up and thought about it. I'm just going to pick a couple of guys I wrote down. I don't want to steal everybody, but I think a guy like Koepka, really, I think he kind of needs to have a showing. You know, he came out the beginning of the year, you know, he's known as a majors guy. He said that, you know, he was feeling healthy, no excuses. So I think that first major, I think he needs to have a good showing. Maybe not necessarily to win, would like to win, but, you know, I think Koepka's a guy that needs to have a good showing. I think Webb Simpson's a guy that, you know, historically plays well here and hasn't been playing well. So, you know, maybe this is a course for the horse, and he can kind of get himself on a roll. And then I think Bryson really kind of needs to show up here. He, this is a course that he should really kind of be able to overpower, and he hasn't been able to do it yet. He's shown that he can putt on difficult golf course and win at Wingfoot, so the green shouldn't be a reason to hold him back.
It's par 68
Those would
for
be,
him.
and I don't necessarily know that I disagree with that. I think that it's probably a par 68 for a lot of guys if it's not playing difficult, but it's just, I don't think it's as difficult of a golf course as a lot of the ones that they play. It's just historically great. But those would be three guys that I would say.
Tim, who do you think? Who needs this one?
I think Rory needs this one. I think he's almost at a point now where it's like, we could possibly be watching like the downfall of his career, or maybe we already are. I'm not sure, but it's been a long time since he's won a major, and I think he needs one. I think he needs one if he's going to stay relative.
I mean, Rory's always an obvious choice. I think I was counting. This is his 8th attempt at the Grand Slam since his 2014 Open win. So starting 2015, this is his 8th attempt at the Grand Slam. He's had a couple years where he's in contention, the Patrick Reed year, most notably, a couple years where he's backdooring top 10s, which has been his most popular path is I'm going to shoot 75 on day one and really just get out of it immediately. And then I'm going to three-wheel it and I'm going to play well for 3 days. I think 2020, when DJ won the Fall Masters, I think Rory outplayed him the last 3 days, but he was so far behind day one that he couldn't make up ground. So Rory at this golf course is always something that you're going to have to think about. On paper, it feels like he should be able to have one of those years where he putts well and actually hits some good irons and dominates. But is that going to be the year this year? We'll see. Johnny, who do you think?
Well, Rory's is number one, but you made all good points about that, and that's exactly why I thought that it would be him. But for the sake of picking somebody different, it's Xander Schauffele. He so far, I mean, I think we can agree, and you especially, Phil, can agree that it's somewhat been an underachieving career based on the talent level and the hype that's been around him. Really, really, really good player, but doesn't necessarily have the win equity to prove that good play and everything. So, seems all of his buddies or his counterparts are winning major championships, and I think he's going to have to get on the ball first of just winning, but he's got to win a major. And I think I really think that the Masters is going to be a good one for him to, if he ever breaks that seal and wins one, that it's going to be, and I think it's got to happen soon.
Yeah, Xander's a good one. I won't say anything snarky about Xander to Zach, even though I could. I did swear off betting Xander like forever going forward. Then I realized I put a future on Xander from like last fall to win the Masters. So after this one, that's going to be the case for me. I'm going Justin Thomas on this. I really feel like, I think we all are a fan of him here. I love watching him play golf, but it's been now almost 4.5 years since the 2017 PGA. We're talking about a guy that's got, I think, 14 or 15 wins. At some point, your resume's got to be equitable for wins and majors, and it's very inequitable at this point. And the fact is, he just really hasn't contended at very many of these, period. So whether or not he wins this one is one thing. I just want to see him come Sunday where you're talking about Justin Thomas on the back nine at the very least. I think his caliber of game is so much better than his major record has shown. And I think it's time for him to show up, and I'm hoping it's this week. with that said, guys, give me the one player, and I know we did this last year for the Open, and I bombed completely, and I said last year that the guy that would not win the Open last summer was Colin Morikawa, and he went out and won it. So you got to fly close to the sun on this answer, but hopefully not pick the guy that's actually going to win. So who's the one top contender that will not win this week? Tim?
Well, I don't know if he's a top contender or not, just from how he's been playing as of late and some of the other things, but I don't think Bryson has a shot to win.
I would agree with that. He's out there with the dude perfect guys though over the weekend.
Oh, that's all that matters.
It just becoming even more like less or even less unlikable, it feels like.
More unlikable?
Or less unlikable, I'm sorry.
Less? No, you said less. That
No.
doesn't.
I've been sick, so my brain's just not been functioning. He's just not likable, and this isn't helping the dude perfect thing for sure. Zach, who's the name that's not going to win?
I don't think Scotty Scheffler is going to win this. I think that he's good enough. Obviously, he's proven that he's having a fantastic year, but I think that there are players that are just as talented as him that have a little bit more time, a little bit more experience there. And I really think at the Masters, for the most part, that's important, And I love that everybody's down on Bryson. It's just like those are the times. And I'm not a Bryson fan at all, but I do have money down on him this week. And those are the times that he wins when everybody's doubting him. I'd much rather nobody love him than everybody love him, because he never does anything when everybody loves him. So,
yeah, Scheffler I think is a good pick. It's hard to envision him winning 4 times in 6 starts and then topping it off with the Masters as the #1 player. It's just too much, too good to be true. It feels like, if that would be the case. Johnny, who's your pick?
I'm going to pick Victor Hovland. I like him. I like him as a player. I think that short game, though, is too exposed, and you're going to miss greens. And I just don't feel comfortable with him, on the weekend, getting up and down for par a lot of the time. He'll probably make his fair share of birdies, because that's just what Victor Hovland does. But, just the short game is going to expose him. And as he's going to have to get better in his career at chipping and pitching the ball and bunker play and everything, but that's going to play a major factor. I think this Masters, with it being windy on Friday and then kind of cooler and breezy over the weekend. So don't really love him. I'm going to fade him this week.
As we've said before, if there's a tournament where a lot of guys are missing greens anyways, then Hovland's not the guy you want to try to get the ball up and down. It's hard to envision a path him winning this tournament versus maybe like a PGA or US Open where, he could truly just ball strike you to death. We'll see though. I mean, I think he had a good amateur appearance here. I think he was a top am, but it would take a lot for him around the greens at least. I'm gonna take a risk here. I'm gonna go Cam Smith is not gonna win this Masters. He'll probably make every putt over the weekend from 10, 12 feet and just stick it to me. But I don't think that brand of golf is sustainable. What he did at the Players, I've not seen too many performances like that. I've seen it from Spieth, a couple times, but Spieth proved those type of deals are a bit of a one-off. And if you're not hitting it as good, or as good as you can with your irons around here, it's usually you're not going to win. I think the last 7 years here, most of the winners have been in the top 5 in strokes gained approach for the week. So I think if Cam Smith was driving it like he did at the Players, it's hard to envision a path where he's going to win this tournament. So I'll take Cam Smith to not win. Guys, let's move on to the lines. And before we get to that, I want to talk about the golf course just a touch. There was some alterations on number 11. They've taken some trees out on the right side of number 11. I saw on the women's amateur on Saturday, which was it's a really fun event to watch. There's just a couple lone trees on the right now, so there is some more room over there. And then I think 15, there's some changes there as well. They've lengthened number 11 as well. So, I mean, we're talking about a par 4 that's well over 500 yards. So I was digging into some of the stats. I mean, it looks like to me, if you're not hitting your long irons well, especially at Augusta with playing over 7,500 yards, and what Johnny kind of alluded to earlier, if you're not getting the ball up and down when you're missing greens, I don't think you can win this tournament this week. What do you guys think about who's going to profile as far, or what profiles well here, and what are you looking at as far as when you're picking your guys that when you're going to bet on them this week, Johnny?
Well, I think, as it's always kind of been, you can be a little bit erratic off the tee. So not really looking at off the tee guys. I think it will be wet with the storms that they're going to be getting. So there is some length that's going to be needed. So like guys in the past who have won, like Zach was saying, like a Zach Johnson or Danny Willett, or, you know, Charles Schwartzel, that don't really necessarily hit the ball very far. You're not really going to find those. So we want guys that are going to hit it well off the tee. You know, a lot of it is the iron play. It's long iron play. It's mid irons. You know, the par 3s you got to be real precise on, but really it's like you said, you've got to hit a lot of long irons into a lot of these par 4s. So we're going to definitely want to look at that. But also the big one, and I'm sure I'll get, you know, the other guys will echo what I say, is you've got to just look at course history. This is a certain place, and you've got to look at guys who just, you know, play well here. And a lot of times those guys will profile with the long hitters, good long iron players, and the real good short games.
Tim, what do you think? Who are you looking at when making your bets this week?
Well, like Johnny said, for the most part, for me, it was historical research and just seeing how these guys performed. And there's quite a few guys that are, I guess, favorites to some point that don't have a lot of experience here. And there's part of me that wonders if that's a good thing. They haven't had all the heartbreaks that other players have had. And sometimes somebody who's got fresh eyes on a course, they're not scared of all the trouble they can get into because they haven't been in all that trouble historically. So I still like a guy that can hit the ball pretty deep. I don't think that's gonna, it may not be a major issue, but I think hitting the ball solid off the tee, picking your spots off the tee, it's definitely going to make for easier approach shots. And I just think that's what most of golf is about, is that approach shot, getting yourself in position off the tee and then hitting an approach shot somewhere that, you know, you can make a putt. So I didn't really have a huge formula in this. I've got a little bit of the new and a little bit of the old in my favorites, which for the most part, you guys have ripped apart and you're favored not to win this event. So we'll see how that goes, I guess.
Zach, any final thoughts on that piece?
I think that, like everybody else is saying, really, this is a history tournament. This is one that we see people, you know, predominantly, if they're in the top 20, they're in the top 20 for the last 5 or so years, or at least sprinkled in throughout that. I also think the guys that kind of can control their flight and work the ball both ways tend to do well here. I mean, Patrick Reed won, he does that. Tiger does that, Bubba. So with Johnny saying that it's going to be wet, distance is going to be key here. But, you know, being able to work the ball both ways, it's kind of always been a big thing here, to put the ball in the right position on the greens. And then obviously somebody that can make putts. So kind of just echoing everything else everybody said.
Yep. I'm a little interested in guys that can play tough conditions well. If it gets windy on Friday and Saturday, it looks like it could. Guys that can grind out a score, pretty much your anti-Rory kind of guys, guys that can grind out pars. You know, when an informed Patrick Reed, you know, when he won, you know, that's the kind of guy that I'm looking at, that for at least, you know, when the players got really tough, those kind of guys that can really, like you mentioned, flight their ball, put it to 40 feet and lag putt it and get down in par. So I'm interested to see if the tournament gets that way. I don't know how tough it will get Friday, Saturday. It's supposed to be, like Johnny mentioned, a little wet early in the week. Let's talk about the odds. Rahm is still the favorites at plus 900s. He's been the favorites pretty much every tournament he's been in for the last 6 to 8 months. Hasn't won since the U.S. Open, though. Scott Scheffler at plus 1,200, number one player in the world. JT is down to plus 1,200. These are on DraftKings, so numbers might be different elsewhere. Cam Smith at 14, DJ at 16, Xander, Hovland, and Morikawa at 20, Rory at 20, Brooks at 20, Jordan Spieth at 22, Cantlay at 25. Those are the guys that are under 30 to 1. I've been feeling for the last couple of weeks like it's a big name. It's a star that's going to win this week. Someone that's going to add on to a major total for the most part. A guy that's already won a major is what I feel like this is going to go. But I'm interested to hear your guys' takes. Tim, under 30 to 1. Is there a guy that you like at a certain number, or is there a guy that's you like how they've been playing, progressing into this tournament that you like that you're going to bet?
Okay, all 5 of my main picks this week. 2 of them I've bet about 2 months ago. Actually, it was after Scheffler won in Phoenix. I put a bet on him, and I also put a bet on Hovland for the Masters. So those 2 guys are obviously under 3,000. JT is another one that I really like. He may be my overall favorite for this event, but I really like Cam Smith. I know somebody said that he wasn't going to win for sure, but I really like Cam Smith's had a pretty good history here too. He's had some good finishes. He's played well. I like his game right now. Yeah, for me, it's hard to pick too far away from one of these top guys, especially someone like Scheffler, because at least of right now, we don't know of anything that's a pure weakness in his game. Maybe it'll come out this weekend and we'll find out what it is, but he's playing really consistently. I don't see any reason. I'm on the Scheffler bus. Like, I bet him back then. He won me money in Phoenix. Smith won me money. So I do like JT and I do like Rory in that number. All these guys are going to get some money from me. I don't know how I'm going to distribute it quite yet, but out of that range, those are 5 guys that are my favorites.
3 of the 5 are the ones that we said would not win.
Yes. I mean, okay, let's be honest with the Hovland thing. Yeah, he has some issues with his short game. And this might be the worst place on earth to have issues with your short game if you're trying to get up and down. So, yeah, I mean, I put money on him, and I still think all 5 of these guys will be up in the mix come Saturday, Sunday.
All right, Zach, what do you think?
I like DJ a lot. He's been playing well, has the distance, has the demeanor, can play in bad weather. Obviously, I'm a Morikawa fan, so anytime that Morikawa is playing, I mean, I need him to win. He's got to win 10 majors to make me look smart. So that's and I like Cantlay as well. Kind of just a mockingbird here of other things that I've said in most tournaments when these guys are up here. I just like those 3 a lot. I want to say Xander just keep that going, but he's just proving me wrong early on in the season. So I would say those 3 are probably who I'm on right now.
It's hard not to like
in that area.
It's hard not to like Morikawa at 20 to 1. I mean, his numbers slipped a little bit the last couple of weeks, but that's great, I think, from a betting standpoint. And there's nothing not to like about him, especially when you talk about the Masters being a second shot golf course. That's the guy you want hitting your second shot right now. Johnny, what do you think? I can't imagine there's a couple of these guys that you like. I see Spieth at plus 2,200. I can't think that you're going to target him with how he's swinging the golf club these days.
No, I want to so badly, but I can't bite at that number. He putted really, really, really poorly last week, especially that Sunday or actually that weekend in San Antonio, which we didn't talk about, but hit the ball amazingly well, which was kind of promising. So it kind of gives you those feels there. Now, I would probably look at him in maybe a top 10 or top 20 bet if I could get it at plus odds in the top 20, because I think he's going to make the cut. He's going to play well. It's got the course history here. The names I'm looking at, we want to talk about Jon Rahm. Haven't really mentioned it. He's not been putting as well as he did last summer, and hence when he last won. But he has not finished out of the top 10 in the last 4 years here when he hasn't been that good of a putter. So, he's still hitting the ball pretty well. I just think this golf course fits him. Or fits his eye anyways. It doesn't really fit his fade, because most guys you want here at Augusta are right-handers who hit a draw, because most of the tee shots require a draw to get in the best position there. So that's why some of these guys don't end up having that luck. But Rahm seems to be able to do that just fine. The other guy, I like JT, but I don't know if I love the number. That's a pretty low number. I very well think he could win this week, and I think he's one of the probably top 3 on my board that could win. But the best value I see is Brooks Koepka. Again, hits a fade, plays well here. Probably could have won in 19 when Tiger won had he hit a better putt on 18 there and gotten in the playoff. He's putting the ball really, really well. He's making those 8, 10, 12-foot birdie putts that doesn't normally typically make, and he's rolling them into some confidence there. And I've texted you several times about, have you had a future on him? I like how he's playing. I think that number's pretty good at 20-1. And he might be my best value in that top portion of the board there.
He's definitely trending too. I mean, he's been playing some really solid golf the last couple tournaments. He played well at the match play when he lost to DJ in the quarterfinals. You gotta like, and Brooks is healthy for the first time at the Masters in a couple of years. It's a good number. It really is. I was going to ask if anyone was going to mention Rahm at plus 900. He'll be happy because it's not a piece of shit fucking setup. Won't be a putting contest week. I've been reading all these things about how Rahm is a real asshole, telling fans to go fuck themselves after holes. Like he's like he's kind of.
I think he gets intense in there, and he just did no filter. I kind of like that.
Yeah. I love JT. I don't know if he's going to make the putts that he has to make. He hasn't been making them this year. I was talking to Johnny about this, before this started, like last year where he couldn't make a putt, he always sort of thought he was a really good putter. And now is this just who he is, where he's a guy that doesn't make the 8 to 10 footers that you need to make to win tournaments. I still don't know if that's him. I still think he's a guy that's got 4 or 5 majors in his career in him. I think he's way overdue. I bet him a couple weeks ago at plus 1,400. So I still like JT this week. If I were to pick a second guy in this group, it would probably be Morikawa as well. And for all the reasons that Zach said, I don't know how you could pick Spieth. He just doesn't pass the eye test. I can't watch him swing a golf club these days. It's so painful to watch. It's like you're not even watching the same guy that you saw in 2021 that hit the ball so well. And I know he had his best ball striking week or Sunday statistically that he's ever had in one round, but it's hard to see Spieth contending. Pretty good breakdown though of the top guys there. Past 30-1. So 30 the 30 to 50 range. Zalatoris, the guy that was runner up last year, who's been close so many times in the last few weeks, he's at 35. Hideki, the defending champ, seems injured. He's at 35. I don't know why this guy is priced this way. I really have no clue. Russell Henley's at 35-1 to win the Masters. Dana
What?
Berger, yeah, I don't know if they thought this was like the RSM Classic, but it's hard to figure. Ahead of guys like Daniel Berger, 40-1, who's been playing pretty well. Bryson at 45. There's Tiger at 45. Oosthuizen at 45, and rounding out Sam Burns at 50. Tim, do you have any interest in anybody or anyone in this group because of a number or because of how they've been playing?
Well, if Tiger's a go, I'm going to put some money on Tiger. The only other one that I have written down, and I have it indicated as a sleeper pick, that would be Sam Burns. I don't really know why. I guess just because of how he's been playing lately. I don't break down this stuff as well as you guys do. Coming into this expert field of golf.
It's a real tough. It's an expert panel for sure.
It is tough, but yes, yeah. I have Burns is the only one, and if Tiger's in it, then I'm putting money on Tiger.
Zach, do we have any idea why Henley is 15 points ahead of Sam Burns, who just won in his last start?
No, I think my eyes are deceiving me. I do not understand why I see this. I looked through this earlier and I must have just completely glazed over him because I think that would have shocked me too. But are they like, is this somebody telling everybody bet on Russell Henley? You can win money at 35-1 right now. Bet him. If he wins, this is going to be like a seminal moment in DraftKings where they had some type of Simpsons premonition.
Yeah, they didn't want to get hurt by too big of a Henley number, so I brought it down to 35.
Yeah, exactly. I don't get it. But in this range that we're talking about, really the only guy that I think has a chance to win is Bryson, and we've talked. I'm being contrary on that, and that's perfectly fine. I just think that with his distance, he absolutely can get hot at any point and win. So I like him. Tiger, I do not, if Tiger plays, I do not hate the top 20 number at plus 150. I don't think Tiger's going to win, but if Tiger wins, it's not going to be the most shocking thing that I've ever seen in the world. Hogan came back, and I think in about the same amount of time, didn't he? Modern medicine is better than what it used to be. So
it's more modern.
Yeah, sure. Better metallic rods to put in your legs than what they used to have.
Yeah.
But from that number, that's about it. Okay. Really, that I'm feeling.
Johnny Burns.
Well, first, for all the Henley fans that are going to be watching this or listening to this, if you really think he's going to win, you can get him at 66-1 on BetMGM. So you might as well invest your money a little bit better, a little more realistic. Yeah, I do like Sam Burns. Good driver of the golf ball. He's long. Turned into a really fine iron player, and he can roll the ball. I think if he takes that momentum that he had from Valspar there and takes it into Augusta, I think he can contend. I actually did bet him this morning here. Saw that he was that high. I thought he would be more in the 35-1, 40-1 range. So to get him at 50-1 is pretty good there. Also, the guy I really like out of here is Will Zalatoris. He showed me a lot at the match play there, making putts. He finished second in the event last year to Hideki. So I think the game, the long game is there from what we saw at the match play. And then if he's got a decent putter to boot, and he finished second last year, and in theory his putting is a little bit better. Maybe it's just something where he just gets the greens. He took to him right away, and that's sometimes that's all you need there. So I think I've already got him on my card there, but at 35-1, that's pretty solid.
Zalatoris, runner up as a rookie. Remember, Spieth finished runner-up as a rookie, comes back his second year and wins. Who knows? That might be Zalatoris' path. It seems like his putting was way improved at the match play. He was rolling in 10, 12 footers. I would still avert your eyes if Zalatoris is in contention and he's got to make a 4-footer, multiple 4-footers. It's unlike anything, watching anything else in golf. It's like a train wreck right in front of you. Sometimes they go in, but sometimes they're way off. I love Burns again, to echo Tim and Johnny at 50. He does everything that this golf course requires. He's long. His iron play is way improved, and he makes a lot of putts. I actually love him as first round leader. He's a notoriously quick starter. 45-1 to get him as first round leader. I really like that as well. For Burns to get up to a quick start. Guys that are 55-1 up to about 80-1. Got some past winners here. Adam Scott's in this group. Bubba Watson, 2-time winner. Sergio's here. Pat Reed's here, 80. Corey Connors, he's up at the top there, 55-1. He's had a couple top 20s the last couple of years here. Shane Lowry, his strokes gained the last few events are as high as anyone. He's at 55-1. Zach, who's in this group that you like from about 55 to 80?
Everyone. I think this is, I really do. I think this is about the best odds money wise that you can get for everybody. I mean, Lowry has been playing great. You're talking about a guy that can grind and play in terrible conditions. Finau is a guy who I like at 65-1, who has really actually been playing quietly well. Had a great tournament last week. And he always seems to play good. I mean, his final round was good. We want to talk about him and Speed. Speed shot 5 under that last round, so he's kind of got a little bit of momentum coming in here. And I feel the same about Finau.
I mean, I think he finished like 36th at the Texas Open. I just don't know if that's great.
Not really necessarily talking about finish. I'm talking about,
okay,
the final round that just creates momentum. But
right.
You got a guy like Watson and Garcia, and I like Reed at this number. I mean, Reed's a guy. These are guys at this number that, for top 10, top 20, you can get pretty good numbers there. Not to mention the guys that you had already previously said from this number. I think this is the best quality group.
Tim?
Well, give me Bubba. I always want Bubba.
Mm-hmm.
No, I like Lowry too. I think Lowry in that group, he's playing well right now. I think I didn't really look at anybody in this group just because I really believe this is going to come from somebody who's in that plus 2,000 range. I believe it'll come from somebody who's kind of expected to win. It'll be a battle of the big boys out there. But I do like a couple people, because I like a dark horse. I always like to put a few bucks on some of these guys that are, in the 6,000 or 8,000 range, because a $2 bet still pays out pretty good on that. So, but if I were going to pick, Bubba, he's just Bubba, but Lowry's been playing pretty good, so I would take Lowry.
Okay. Johnny, Pat Reed at 8,000. Reed does this thing where he just comes out of nowhere after he's been, off for 6 months, a year, and then he's in contention. I mean, is there any path for Reed? And that's a great number on a past champion.
I think he's so far off that, you're right. He does. He seems to drop to, plus 4,500, plus 4,000, something like that. We're always like, wow, that's quite the number there. I think he's pretty appropriately priced. Yeah, he is past champion. Hits a draw, can be a good putter. But there's just not been much for him. I think I'm going to keep him off my card. But that is kind of tempting though. So I can see the allure of a 80-1 there for past champion there. I picked him before, and I'm not going to pick any of these guys to win, because I think like Tim said that we're coming from, that 20 to 25-1 and better that's going to end up winning this. But you could get such good value on a top 10 top 5, top 20, something like that, whatever you feel comfortable with, is Mark Leishman. I've picked him before. He plays well here. When he gets going, he can putt the ball well. He's the one that stuck out there at plus 450 for a top 10 is really good. I'd love to pick Tony Finau because he plays well here. And, like the thing with Bubba, Bubba wins. He has these golf courses that he wins at all the time and only wins at. So, kind of thing with Finau is, he can just play this golf course so good. I'll be looking at him. That he might be the only one worth a win bet there. But the other guy, not as a win, but I like him for first round, is Justin Rose. I don't think he could play well enough for 4 rounds, but he has got a really good record on this golf course here. I think he probably could have won it twice. I think Sergio beat him, and there was another time that he contended. He was first round leader, 2 years ago, or was it the Tiger one? That he was the first round leader there. So, he could get it going. I like him for whatever first round lead is. That's got to be a pretty good number there. So I'll have him there, but decent names overall, but nothing I see as a legitimate shot to win.
I bet a couple months ago Adam Scott to win at 7,500. He's down to 5,500. Some books have him at 6. I still think there's a path where he's actually been putting pretty well this year. And I think he plays this golf course really well. So I think there's some path where Scott could get a second green jacket. Tim, to echo your Bubba pick, the last 4 years in ball striking, basically driving and irons, he's only behind DJ, Rahm, and Thomas in that metric the last 4 Masters. So even recent Masters, Bubba's been there. As far as hitting the ball well. But I like Scott to maybe top 10, maybe contend. I think your guys' Lowry play is on point. And that's probably all I'm gonna mess with in that range. I think there's certain years where Rose or Sergio will show up. It could be one of them that you'll see them on the weekend. It's hard to say if it'll be this one. Usually the 100 to 1 range for us is some of the main talking points, especially in bad fields like last week, where we can go on and on about guys that are 150 to 1, but there's just not as much value in the Masters. The field is littered with past champions that don't have much of a chance to win, but there are some guys here that are 100 to 1 and higher, maybe a top 10, top 20 that offers something. Guy like Taylor Gooch, who has played really well for a couple months, he's down here 130 to 1 to win, plus 800 for a top 10. Anybody you looked at down there, Zach, that you like in any type of market?
Yeah, I like Webb Simpson. I will probably honestly put a win bet on Webb Simpson, a small one. At 130 to 1. I like his plus 800 number for top 10, and I think top 20 numbers, but plus 275, and I think you're getting plus 130 even for top 30. So for a guy that I think a plus 130 bet for top 30 for a guy that historically tends to be in the top 20 here is a fairly good bet. Cam Champ tends to play quite well here, and at 180 to 1, I don't think he's going to win, but he's got top 20 at plus 400. So I think that's good. And Zach Johnson has been playing well these couple of weeks. And again, not a guy that necessarily is going to be super popular, but you can get him top 30 at plus 350. And I don't think that's terrible odds. So those are some guys down there in that range that I'm looking at.
Tim, anything past 100 to 1 for you?
No, but I do like that Webb Simpson. I think he's got a shot at the top 20, maybe top 10. I don't know about. I guess anything's possible, and he's got the kind of game that he could be in contention on the weekend. So, but I like Webb Simpson down there.
Webb's actually got a great record. Top 20 the last 4 years here. He's got a 5th place in the Tiger year that he won. So that's a good call with Webb. I know he had an injury. I think he's still working his way back. Johnny, what about you? Thomas Peters down there, 130-1. He's always got the potential to pop. Cam Young, 130-1.
I wanted to be big on Cam Young. Didn't really play well at the match play, so kind of softened on that. But I think he's got a good game for this one. So he'll be a Masters rookie. I think he could be one of the guys that could surprise. That's a pretty good number there. And, you could also look at a first round lead bet on him because that'll have some good value there. I hate to say this name, and I always have somebody like that but Nah is starting to play a little bit better. Top 15 finishes in his last two Masters. Starting to make putts. He played actually hit the ball and putted the ball really well at the match play. One of those things that I think just the numbers good. Even though I don't want to have to root for Kevin Na on that, but don't really love anybody else that's this far down the list. I mean, you could look at the past champions that they might be able to sneak through and get a top 20 or top 30, but I think there's nothing that really jumps out as far as, especially based on recent form.
I think I'll take a dip on Peters at 130-1, and I'll also look at my other brother Luke List for top 10 at plus 1,000 because he is in Augusta. He lives in Augusta, and he last played this tournament in 2005 as an amateur. So it's a pretty incredible story that he's back.
Wow.
And I think we all know how good he can hit the ball. So I could see a path where his putter doesn't kill him totally, and ball striking wise, he's top 10 in this field. Past that, then you got your Stu Sinks and Danny Willits and guys of that nature that I don't think we're definitely necessarily expecting a lot from this week. Any final thoughts on the Masters or any other players, Tim?
No, I'm ready. I'm ready for this thing to start. It's been a lot of talk this year, so the sooner the better. I'm sure this week will drag on until Thursday, and then trying to find a way to watch it while I'm working. It's always a struggle, but I always seem to manage Thursday and Friday, squeezing some time in, and at least keeping an eye on the leaderboard. I really like to bet the most on Fridays, especially towards the end of the round doing live bets. So I may hold off on some of my bets until then. I did see that. I don't know if everyone got that offer or not, but FanDuel was offering the $25 up to $25 forgiveness bet, and I thought that was
if they finish in the top 10.
If they finish in the top 10, I think it's something I'm definitely going to get in on. But it's a good promotion for people if they want to bet, especially if they're betting for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. I was glad to see that they offered that. I'm a customer at Caesars. They have some sort of promo as well. I'd like it if DraftKings offered something. I saw that they were offering a boost of some type. But Zach, what else? What's your final thoughts on the week?
Just the three names that nobody mentioned that I cannot believe that they have the number they are, all power players: Woodland, Kokrak, and Wolf. How far has Wolf fallen where he's at 180-1 and nobody is talking about him?
Yeah.
And Kokrak kind of has a game that could do something. Not that I think he will, and Woodland played well last week. And then my final thought is after 11 prior attempts, a team has finally beat Gino Oriema in the women's national championship game. So now we cannot say that Connecticut is 11-0 in the championship games, and that makes me happy.
That's true. Yeah, man, South Carolina women, they can rebound with anyone. Pretty impressive last night.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny, final thought?
Look at live betting this thing. This is maybe we'll post, or you'll post some picks after Friday. Look at and see where the draw is, and it'll get volatile, but the Sunday's always a crazy day. So if you see a guy that's 2 or 3 shots back, 4 shots back, something like that, don't be afraid to throw a little bit on him if he's got a really good number, because I mean, it's generally in most golf tournaments, but especially a one like this where you can shoot 30 or 31, 5 or 6 under par on the back nine, is to look at those guys that are several shots back there. And we've seen plenty of times where there's been a 66, a 65, something like that on Sundays, and these guys have climbed up the leaderboard there. So a lot of opportunity for live betting. It is, I like I said, like we've said, this is the best. I think this is the best event of the year. It's one of the best events in all of sports. It is on just a phenomenal golf course. And hopefully, if you haven't really watched much of it, which I have a hard time imagining people who watch this podcast haven't, but enjoy it, because we only get it once a year, and I cannot wait until Thursday when it starts.
My final thought
Phil.
is, yes, Tim.
Real quick. Well, you can have your final thought, I guess, but I'm curious what you guys think the winning score is going to be.
I would guess with the weather somewhere like 11 or 12.
I
was
guess
thinking
13.
14.
I'll take 15.
Okay. My final thought was going to be with it. Watch the weather forecast with if the winds blow in like that. We saw with the players how the draw was so critical to that tournament. I don't know if I don't think it's going to be anywhere like that, but even a day where it's one-sided with one half of the draw, if they get a good draw, look at the guys that are going out with that side of the draw. You have a nice anticipation that someone's going to move up the board. Look at their number to start the day, because it could be the leaderboard could look way different on a day like that. So should be a great week, though. Can't wait. Appreciate all 3 of you taking time out to discuss it, and look forward to talking to you guys throughout the week.
Good. Thanks, Phil.
Good hanging
Thanks,
out.
sir.
All right, guys, we'll have our picks up on Wednesday, so check that out. Thanks for listening or watching as always, and catch you next time.